Lie down. Stage on.
Thanks.
Hey, paisanos, it's the... Excuse me, princess. Super Show!
Hi, I'm Aaron.
I'm John.
And this is the Excuse Me Princess Super Show, where we review and watch and try to forget the Super Mario Super Show and the Legend of Zelda cartoon in air date order. I've already forgotten episode 1.
Oh, I prefer to forget episode 4. Mario's Magic Carpet.
Oh.
But the episodes we're looking at today, the live action segment is called Cher's Poochie. Yes. And the animated segment is Brooklyn Bound. Originally aired September 21st, 1989.
And where can we watch it?
If you want to watch the show, we can watch it on the Wild Brain Superheroes YouTube channel.
Amazon Prime.
And that's really it. Because the DVDs suck.
Okay, fair.
So, Aaron, why don't you take this opportunity to do what you were born to do and tell us all about Cher's Poochie?
Good news. Bad news. Great news. It's pretty much a recap of the Frankenstein episode and the Sigmund Fruitcake episode.
But without either of them.
Yes. Mario, Luigi, and Edison are working on a transformer.
Yeah, it's a pizza transformer, but it doesn't say what it actually is going to do. Just Mario complaining about him being hungry, so I guess it's a new fantastic pizza oven.
Like the Paisano?
Yeah. There's a whole pallet of those at Walmart.
Or at least there was.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, working on a transformer apparently being overly noisy, someone's at the door, knocking. Knock, knock, knocking on Mario's door. And he can't hear it. But Luigi can and goes, Mario, someone's at the door. Can you get that?
What? They can't hear you. Hey, Luigi, someone's at the door. You get it? Yeah, you get it. Mario, you lazy piece of shit. What's your problem? You think you got a date with Cher or something?
And opens up the door, and who is it? Not Cher, but Cher.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later.
I'm not Cher, but I play her on TV.
At least one episode.
Yeah. And Cher is there to
have the Mario Brothers dog sit her dog. Because apparently they're in such need of financial support, they're taking on any work, not just plumbing.
Yeah, I can't remember what the joke was, but they mentioned they did a previous job for her, and she's something like, yeah, it's still, the shower still comes on when I turn on the lights, or something like that.
Oh, the shower still comes on when I run the washing machine.
Oh, that was it.
So, Mario brings the dog to the pizza transformer, turns to the dog and says, have you ever seen a pizza transformer? And pulls a lever. And this is where we get into the repeat of the Frankenstein episode and Sigmund Fruitcake.
Because Mario's mind gets swapped with the dog's this time.
Yes.
Giving an opportunity for Lou Albano to run around on all fours panting.
And humping fake Cher's leg.
Well, you're skipping to the end.
I know, but
it's just that easy. But no, the Luigi comes in from walking Cher to her car, I guess.
Yes.
And Mario scampers up to him, panting, and then the dog, it just dubs over Lou Albano's voice with no effort to make the dog look like it's saying this stuff. It's just a funny little pug lying there, saying something.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
No, it kind of washed over me.
Yeah, and pre-production on this episode between the watching and recording ended up running longer than we thought because we found some interesting stuff. Not in the episode itself.
No.
But it cuts to that point, it cuts to the cartoon and cuts back.
Where Cher comes back to pick up her dog. And Mario Lou Albano starts humping her leg.
I think that's a gross exaggeration, emphasis on the first word, but he does kind of gather up and looks more like a dog when it leans on you and it wants you to pick it up. But the We mentioned Edison at the beginning, right? He's helping them make it? Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I think so. If not, we're mentioning him now.
Yeah.
Remember Edison.
Yeah,
Edison is the greatest. Edison deserves your respect.
Yeah.
Edison has done so much for everyone.
Well, he was showing them how to slam dunk before Magic Johnson appeared in their medicine cabinet.
Yeah.
That's the most recent episode uploaded at time of recording, so it's fresh in my mind. But anyway, Cher hears Mario's voice coming out of her dog and promptly faints.
Where we cut to a snippet of The Legend of Zelda.
Which is our next episode.
Stay tuned. Only one more episode remaining before our worst performing part of this show.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Everyone loves the Mario show. No one loves Zelda, apparently.
And I thought I could piggyback off that Zelda movie hype, but so far, no. But anyway, Luigi figures they've got to switch Mario back before Cher wakes up. Otherwise, they're going to have to pay extra to get Mario into a flea dip.
Luigi pulls the switch again, creating another transfer for Mario to go back.
Yeah.
And because this is the Super Mario Super Show, where nothing ever ends properly, Cher and the dog switch places.
Yeah, because Cher, in air quotes, starts barking.
Yes.
And that's where it ends.
So, I'm just going to do a synopsis before we get into the guest star information. I think this is probably taking the cake for the weakest.
You think this takes over from The Orphan?
Yeah.
But The Orphan didn't have Edison in it.
And that's the only thing where it's making me question it, But
Edison didn't really do anything in this. He was just there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
So we now have a...
It definitely nestles into that bottom third with The Orphan and...
Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson.
Oh.
At least Cher kind of showed up.
Oh. Speaking of Cher, she was played by Pam Matteson. Not Matterson, but Matteson.
Matteson.
Medicine.
Cher Medicine Woman.
Born in 1953, she did pass in 2015 after her third bout with cancer. She was a known stand-up comedian, moving to Hollywood in the 80s, showing up in the Super Mario Super Show as Cher, and she will return. Maybe not as Cher, but she will return. She was on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, Just for Laughs, New Hollywood Squares, and she started her acting career with Give Me a Break.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Neither am I. There wasn't too much to go by. I listened to part of her stand-up special, and it was okay, but it didn't really resonate.
Fair enough. That's a good way to put it.
But...
Well, it doesn't sound like we have very much to talk about.
No, we still do. We still do, John. One of the things that we have not talked about is Edison. Edison the Great. Edison the Fantastic. Edison the ruler of all.
We have been very derelict in our duties, and we apologize. But now you're going to learn everything you need to know about Edison and the guy who plays him.
Okay, so Edison is played by James Murray. He is the main puppeteer for the Super Mario Super Show live-action part. The puppeteer for the cartoon is someone else.
Yeah, somebody in Korea. Yeah, he's the guy. He controlled the Ratigator when Alligator Dundee was after him. He controls the furnace when it puffs and squeezes and stuff. The stairs when they compress as somebody walks down them.
The cuckoo clock.
Yeah, the silhouettes on sticks that go by in through the windows, presumably.
I do believe so. I couldn't find out all the information.
But yeah, if he's the main puppeteer, I can't imagine anything more complicated than the cutouts on dowels are probably him.
Yeah. He has had a long career. This was his first credited job.
On the Super Show?
The Super Show is his first credited job.
Oh.
The first one that is uncredited is a movie called Creator. in 1985 as Martin Goodwin. But
He played Martin Goodwin, or he was credited as Martin Goodwin?
He was uncredited as Martin Goodwin.
I see. Well, that answers my question.
With that, he has done so much. He's still active today with upcoming projects. If I was gonna go through everything, we would be here for probably 25 minutes, 45 minutes just talking about Edison. And by that I mean James Murray, the puppeteer. Not to be confused with James Murray, the actor who didn't graduate high school by the time this came out.
I see.
But some of the accomplishments, some of the things he's known for, starting with what we know him for, Super Mario Super Show as Edison. He was a Muppeteer in Muppet Visions 3D. In the 90s puppet show Dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah.
He was additional dinosaurs.
Okay, cool.
You're gonna love this. I already spoiled it for you, but Splinter in the TMNT 3 live action movie.
Lampshade Splinter.
He was in Super Mario Super Show as additional voices.
I'm not surprised in the least.
Muppets Classic Theater as another Muppeteer.
Sure.
He was one of the writers of The Adventures of Timmy the Tooth, as well as he was a cavity goon on Timmy the Tooth.
Damn. I would put that on my resume too, honestly. I love Timmy the Tooth. I remember. Is it Timothy?
I think it might be Timothy, but...
Timothy the Tooth?
I think... it's just saying Timmy the Tooth.
Okay. Could be wrong. It was the Cavity Creeps, right?
Cavity Goon is what it's credited as, but it could be Cavity Creeps.
Okay. I think the Cavity Creeps is what just the general bad guy element in that was called. Or I could be thinking of a different thing.
You could be. He was in Theater Rex as Tina the Waitress Puppeteer. Remember Theater Rex?
No.
Oh, you should watch it. Actually, you shouldn't. It is awful. I remember it being much better when I watched it as a kid, but when I watched it recently, it's like, this is probably one of the worst things I have ever watched. I've watched the entire Excuse Me Princess Super Show that is currently out on YouTube.
Well, it's not a very visual experience.
No, that's the problem. He also voiced a couple voices in Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. Was a Muppeteer in the 2011 Muppets movie.
Right.
Was in the Super Mario Super Show as Cuckoo Clock.
I think you went backwards.
Did some Muppeteering for Imagination Movers.
I have no idea what that is.
It's a kids' TV show.
Okay.
He was also additional cast in Muppeteering for Team America World Police.
Okay, they're not Muppeteering if it's not a Muppet production.
Fine, puppeteering. And was producer on Runaway Bride. Nominated for a Grammy for Best Children's Album in 2013. And he was also in the Super Mario Super Show as a puppeteer.
I think you went forwards.
So, what do you think of James Murray?
I think it's about damn time we gave him his due.
Right?
We only hope someday somebody hears this.
Cool.
But in the meantime...
Ed.
Yeah. How did you like the actual live-action segment?
Like I said, I think it's the worst.
Yes, that's right. We did say that. And yes, I agree. You know what? I think I agree. I think it's a little worse than The Orphan because, you know, the fake Cher is frankly a little insulting.
Yes.
And it's like even lazier than usual.
Like I said, it's recycling two different episodes that we've already watched that were already done better. And it didn't even have anyone going, Frankenstein. Frankenstein.
It's true. It didn't have that. What it did have was slightly off-kilter humor from fake Cher, where she offers to pay them back, and then, who said anything about money? Well, swaying around. It's like, yeah, okay, very good. And just, it felt like it was half the length of one of these, even though it wasn't.
Yeah. It felt empty.
Empty is a good word for it, actually. I think that's a great word for it. They didn't move around a lot. It was almost like they were standing and delivering these lines at each other, except for Captain Lou throwing himself into the role of scampering around as quickly as a 40-year-old man in coveralls can as a dog.
And he did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
That also being said, another word I'd use to describe it, cramped.
Yeah. Claustrophobic. There wasn't much in the way of cutting to angles or any kind of real kinetic energy to it.
No, just... This was the first one where I'm watching and I kind of felt uncomfortable because normally the live action... I mean, I felt uncomfortable before, but that's...
Okay, so we could, along with empty and cramped, we're going to add voyeuristic to the list of descriptions. It's like we're peeking into these people's lives at a moment where we probably shouldn't be.
Oh.
And nobody even called on the pizza phone.
No! Which also probably was going to be Mr. James Murray.
Probably.
Man.
So weakest, new bottom is Cher's Poochie.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can wash the taste of that out of our mouths.
Very soon.
Very soon. Anything else to say on it?
I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, we thought they were getting better, but this one feels like it was churned out. Like, sorry, go ahead.
It feels like it was like, they put a little bit of extra time into one of them. Probably not the Magic Johnson one. Maybe the Ernie Hudson one.
Yeah.
And now they're like, a half day behind, and they just were like, well, we don't have any time for second cuts or moving the cameras around or anything else. Let's just shoot it and see what happens.
And it feels like, why write it if you didn't have Cher? Did they think they were going to have Cher for a while? Or did they literally write it because they knew that did they write it with the idea of casting a fake Cher? Because what's the freaking point? Who would write a spec script? And I mean, there's no script for these anyway. They're practically improvised. So, what the hell? Did somebody know the actress, the comedian, and know that she could do a passable Cher and wrote it around that?
Passable, air quotes.
Yeah.
And also, the joke about plastic surgery I found was in bad taste.
Yeah, but it's very of its day.
It is.
I remember only a few years after that, there was a single panel, like Bizarro or Far Side type comic. It shows Cher in a cryo tube. It says, "This is where we keep Cher between comebacks." That was right after that song, "You Believe in Life After Love," the one with the auto-tune. So that's got to be 98.
Yeah, I think so.
So I guess that's almost 10 years later, but still.
Yeah.
It was an ongoing... So it was in poor taste, but it's also the kids watching wouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah.
And the adults watching were probably already blinded by alcohol. Because why are you up early enough to be watching this?
Blinded by alcohol and rage?
Yeah, one or the other, at least. Yeah, you can't... I could see someone at the time actually being angry at this just a little bit. It's like, insulted.
Insulted. Empty.
Yeah. Empty, cramped, voyeuristic, insulting.
Oh, I think this is the longest we've ever gone on the live action segment.
Yeah. Thank God for Edison.
Oh.
Okay.
Thank God for retroactively hating this more and more as we go through it.
It's true.
Normally,
I almost feel
around.
bad. Yeah, I almost feel bad telling you to put your phone down when we were watching it. Okay, but I think we'll transition into the cartoon, Brooklyn Bound. and I'll just do it at the top here because we don't need to go into it. It was written by J. Larry Carroll and David Bennett Karen, who previously wrote Rolling Down the River. So if you want to know more about them, you can tune back into that episode. So, Mario Brothers, Toad, and Peach, Princess Toadstool, are going through, I think it's the snow zone.
Yeah.
And
no, the Winter World.
Winter World or Snow World, something like that.
Yeah. Canada.
Yeah, pretty much. Canada, like last week. And they're getting pretty tired of this whole being chased from zone to zone, world to world by King Koopa, who in his current guise is Koopa Khan. And yes, it's awful. He's got the little Genghis Khan mustache thing, and him and a bunch of sniffets on Ostros are dressed as, quote, Mongol hordes. So, yeah. You know, Mulan was more sensitive about it.
Even the live-action one.
Even the live-action one. But anyway, they get blown away by this giant gust of wind, and everyone but Luigi lands pretty well. He lands face down in the snow, and he's had it. He wants to go home to Brooklyn. And Mario is at the end of his rope, too, and agrees with the sentiment, at least. You know, they're getting tired of the fight with Koopa. They miss home. It's a bit unheroic, but it's kind of relatable.
Yeah. And Princess Toadstool is very much, you know what? Yeah, let's get you home. You've done more than enough.
Yeah, if we find a way to get you home, we'll take it.
And this is the last time in this episode where Princess Toadstool speaks that doesn't annoy us.
It's true. Yeah, now that you mention it. I mean, is it because she speaks a lot more in this episode than usual?
It's because she speaks with no one speaking back.
Well, there's that. But anyway,
and
they get
cheers when it's supposed to be a group cheer and no one joins in.
Yeah, we all have that one friend. But anyway.
I don't. Oh no, I'm that friend.
Anyway, they get found by Koopa Khan. Oh, here it is.
That's enough.
He came over here to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, and he got your attention. So, good job. They get found by Koopa Khan. You think it's because I'm saying Koopa?
I think it is.
Uh-oh. Anyway, they get found by the bad guys. And what?
Are you talking about Koopa Khan?
Yeah. Sorry. We're recording upstairs this week, and Aaron's dog is named Koopa. And so he keeps perking his ears up. Anyway, they get cornered by Koopa Khan and his hordes, and they run into a cave. And they're cornered, but the cave has a lever sticking out of like a dragon's mouth. And Luigi figures they should pull it. Everyone else...
Nothing bad ever happens if you pull a lever.
Yeah. Luigi didn't watch Yellow Submarine. You shouldn't pull that lever. I've got to. I'm a born lever puller. And it starts opening up the floor. And they eventually fall down to their assumed doom, at least as far as Koopa is concerned. But they end up in...
the plumbing world.
Yeah. In World 7 of Mario 3, Pipe World. Which we very recently learned is actually shaped like 3 islands shaped like warp pipes. When you look at it all at once. We'll put that as a reply on the Twitter of this episode in 4 months. But they're in this giant cavern filled with crisscrossing pipes that actually reminds me of a lot of both Mario movies, but specifically where they warp to in the live action one. These pipes haven't been serviced in years. Must have been a non-union job. And, but they find down there another old guy in overalls who they immediately recognize as Salvador Drainoto. Apparently the greatest plumber of all time who went missing 13 years ago.
Ah, yes. I remember what happened 13 years ago. Salvador Draino went missing.
Salvador Draino. Yeah. Don't know why. You don't want to know why we called him that. But He says he's been stuck in this crazy mushroom world for 13 years, but as luck would have it, he's on the cusp of finding his way back to Brooklyn. He has an ancient map that leads to a pipe, basically, that'll wash them up when he pulls the lever in it. But they gotta break through a solid rock wall that has a pipe, like, right against it, but not going through it. And so the three plumbers work together to redirect the pipes, and
at this point, a snippet goes back to...
no, it's a Shy Guy.
A Shy Guy goes back to King Koopa.
All the rest of them are Sniffets, but this was a Shy Guy. Sniffets are the ones with the little thing on their mask that shoot little black bullets out.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, but you're right. Koopa is celebrating his victory over the Marios.
Yes.
By having a toast and awarding himself a medal. And by having a toast, I mean, all the bad guys have giant slices of toast.
It was bread, it wasn't toasted.
Yeah, well, that butter didn't look like it was melting, but they were in a tent in the snow.
I don't care. It was just bread. He could have toasted it.
We've all got that one relative who makes their toast so light that it's just bread.
Yeah.
And King Koopa subscribes to that philosophy.
I thought he'd go with it burnt.
It probably burns on the way down.
Oh, you know what? You might be right.
He's a fire-breathing dragon guy when he remembers it.
Yeah.
But the Shy Guy comes in and gives them the bad news. But at the very least, they know where the plumbers are, so they mount up and move out to go and get them. Again. And then it cuts back to the Mario Brothers, and I keep wanting to say a different name than Sal Drenodo. And I think it's the name of the guy who voices Mario in the next cartoon, which is why I keep not saying it. But anyway, and they blast away through the rubble and get their way to this, there's a long bridge over a river of molten lava. Which, thankfully, it's a cartoon, so being even that close to molten lava isn't immediately incinerating them all. You just don't worry about that. And as they cross the bridge, it's King Koopa. And he, once again, for like the 5th time, throws up a bomb at them. This one does explode, but because it's an exploding one, he doesn't land it close enough to hurt them with the explosion. But it does blow the bridge to rubble, and sends them spiraling down towards the lava.
And the great news on that is Mario catches everyone.
Yeah, they all managed to... It's one thing to do the whole human chain thing, but man, they managed to pull that off pretty impressively well. Considering they were all over the place when they fell.
Yeah.
But Mario's at the top of the chain holding onto a ledge, and he thinks... They don't think he's going to be able to pull him up until he sees a fire flower there. Which in this cartoon actually turns him into Super Mario, which is, I mean, technically correct, but not like this.
No. He reaches and reaches and reaches. Oddly enough, the only thing stopping him from touching it is instead of reaching with his fingertips up, he reaches with his hand at a 90-degree angle from his arm.
Yeah, it's like, just all you gotta do is nudge it with your pinky.
Yeah.
But he finally does that.
Yes. He remembers that his wrist can actually flop.
Yeah. And he turns into Super Mario, and then uses one of Mario's most famous powers, flapping his arms to slowly flutter upwards.
Oh. And it is awful when you're watching it on the Amazon Prime or Wild Brains YouTube series, because the music also is awful.
Yeah. This is the part of the episode where the cover song would be, which we might as well talk about it very quickly right now. Thanks once again to the Super Mario Bros. Super HQ YouTube channel on YouTube. It's a YouTube channel on YouTube. We have the cover song. We'll put a link in the description, and we'll cut it in around here. But it's Kenny Loggins' Danger Zone. And it's actually a pretty ripping cover of Danger Zone.
And it makes that little bit of the episode a lot more bearable.
Yeah, it almost makes sense. Almost.
Better yet, I'll think magic fire flower. You'll never reach it, Faucet Face. You and your friends are doomed. Oh, yeah? I'll show you. Whoa! That boiling lava could sure singe a man's suspenders.
Relax, Sal. You know what they say. Old lovers
The
never...
reason the fire flower allows him to fly now is because of Top Gun Maverick.
It's Top Gun power.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Luigi, you can be my wingman anytime.
No, you can be mine, Mario.
Oh, Luigi, you've been taking those steroids again. Yeah, it almost makes sense. If nothing else, it makes the animated sequence a little more bearable. And Mario flutters up to the top, and immediately, for one, goes on the offensive like he does every 5th episode or so, and immediately starts lobbing fireballs at King Koopa and the Sniffets. And it's meant to be hitting the ground around them and bursting into flames, and they run away. But the animation being what it is, there's an overlap in one of the cells, and it looks like one of the Sniffets' feet are coming out from under the fire animation, and so it looks like he's just on fire for a second. Like he's lying there and just lit up. But then he runs out from under it and his feet are still moving. But, that could have been a lot more grisly than it seemed to be.
Yes.
So the crew find this magic warp pipe platform thing. And they start saying tearful goodbyes. And Mario's having second thoughts, finally.
And so is Luigi afterwards.
Because they're, they realize, well, we're kind of just cutting and running without actually helping. But Princess Toadstool is adamant that they go home. She's either being pretty passive-aggressive, or she genuinely wants them to go home so that they'll feel better. I think it's the latter. And and there's going to be a lot of tap, tap, tap.
Yeah.
And, but just as they close the door, Koopa shows back up, somehow having gotten across... Oh, no.
Oh,
That's
animation glitch that was...
Or it might even be on purpose. Okay. They're just about to get ready to go into the thing. It cuts back to Koopa on the cliff end, and he's ordering his Sniffets to figure out a way across this chasm. And he goes over and he angrily kicks a column or stalagmite or whatever, which tips over and makes a bridge. One of the Sniffets suggests using that as the bridge, and Koopa says, yeah, well, that was my plan all along, or whatever. And he throws the Sniffet to the ground. And you don't see where he lands, and you hear an enemy gets hit sound from the Mario games. So it's incredibly likely that the Sniffet landed in the lava and died. Because we have no idea where he ended up. So now they're about to make their tearful goodbyes. And Koopa and the Hordes bust through and lasso Toad and Princess Toadstool and start dragging them away.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the Mario Brothers still go home, and that's the end of the show. Everybody dies.
This is the last episode of the Excuse Me Princess Super Show, so thank you for your patronage. Thank you for not making us set up a Patreon.
Thank you for helping us get to 600 episodes. It's been a hell of a ride. But no, Mario and Luigi immediately run out to go and help them, while Sal pulls the lever and is finally heading home to Brooklyn. Oh,
Coward.
Yeah. Well, he's not the one fighting tyranny.
Yeah. Coward.
Yeah. When good men do nothing, that's evil enough. But, there's a brief joke where they can smell Brooklyn, and they're all holding their noses while they say goodbye.
Yeah.
So that's good. Good joke. I appreciate that joke.
Why are you stealing all my lines?
Because I've heard them pretty recently. But they run out, and they end up, Koopa's dragging away, and Princess Toadstool is saying, you're never going to get away with this. He's like, yeah, well, who's going to stop me? Your plumber pals cut out on you. And then Mario shouts out from the rafters, that's what you think, lizard lips. And Luigi's like, I thought we were going to sneak up on him. Yeah, I forgot. But they open a valve and somehow wash King Koopa and the goons away.
We're forgetting something.
Which one?
We're forgetting pasta power.
Oh, that's right. Finally, a double grand return. The Mario Brothers bust out patty cake, pasta man. Give me pasta power as fast as you can. Did we check what the pasta power count has been updated to?
No, we have not.
Well, we'll do that at the end. But we have another one. And another instance of the nursery rhyme, which I knew I'd heard again as a kid. This is one of the episodes I remember actually watching. But, yeah, then they open the valve, somehow flush away Koopa and his troop without also flushing away Toad and Princess Peach, and I don't remember how that worked. I think they just got out of the way. Koopa swears revenge.
Shows up at Brooklyn, takes a new identity as Godzilla.
Yeah.
Time travels, and where our next episode is going to be about the Godzilla arc.
Actually, King Koopa might have an alter ego in Brooklyn, but you'll see that later.
When we watch the new Super Mario movie?
No.
Oh.
I mean, in this show. But, in the meantime, was there an ending gag?
I feel like there was, but I really can't remember it.
There was the Mario Brothers, there's usually an ending something. Ba-bum.
Something about,
Toad just gives them both hugs and thanks them. And there's usually a closing line of some kind.
I think there was something about, they'll find another way back to Brooklyn later, or something.
Something. I really don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, well. But anyway, that's the end of the episode. It was an interesting one. As empty as the live-action one felt, this one was fairly busy.
Yes, but not in a good way.
You don't think so?
I mean, not overly.
No, okay.
There was too many... Like you said, the live-action one seemed also rushed. And I feel like that's the best way to describe this one with all the animation errors and the pacing.
There was a lot of those. Yeah, there was some weird animation errors. There were pacing issues. There was some, what we've called before, stop and start animation, where everyone's standing still and then they do something and then they're standing still again. There
was people moving their lips for other people's lines.
Yeah, we'll finish our kind of review talk, and then I've actually, normally we just do the ones we remember, but I've actually pulled up a list from the Mario Wiki of a bunch of these animation errors, because there's a lot in this one that are worth noting.
And because of the different things that were happening, it made me more sympathetic towards King Koopa about finishing off Princess Toadstool.
She just was a bit annoying in this one. I don't know why.
Well, once again, if it was a crowd cheer, it wouldn't have been as annoying, like you mentioned while we were watching.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's one segment where when they blow away the rocks, they're all supposed to be cheering, but Princess Peach, as one long combined sentence...
Princess who?
Princess Toadstool, thank you, I forget myself. As one long combined sentence goes through like 4 different cheers. And I think the idea was that they would be cut up and layered or whatever, but they just told the voice actress to do some cheers. And she did some cheers, like, hooray, yahoo, good work, Mario. But it all runs together as one sentence with nobody else talking. And meanwhile, her arms pump up and down in the same 2 frames.
Yes.
Like the Tusken Raider in Star Wars Episode 4. They actually did rock the film back and forth to do that. Oh. That's in that old documentary. But anyway, now I'm getting esoteric. There's no room for esotericism in a podcast about a Mario cartoon. Obviously, Koopa the dog disagrees with me. Sorry, Pooch, you had your chance.
He's just jealous that we poked more effort into Cher's pooch than we did into him.
Somebody had to put some effort into that.
And it had to be us.
Yeah.
What, like 35 years later?
It's the benefit of hindsight.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Anyway.
Yeah. And see, I actually... Oh, anytime we talk, he's going to make noise so we don't forget about him.
He's currently just in a timeout because he needs his afternoon nap.
A slightly magical timeout.
Yeah.
I actually kind of like this episode a little better than some of them. It might be a bit of a nostalgia bias because this is one I remember watching back in the day.
I think it's just a nostalgia bias.
I don't know. But it's... and this sounds very odd and almost pretentious, but not to say it's a lore episode. After like 6 episodes of filler, we're back to the actual quote-unquote story of the Mario Brothers being from Brooklyn and helping the princess battle King Koopa to save her kingdom. Which is, it's sort of the background element, like, oh, we're going to Cramelot to try and get this thing to fight Koopa. Or we're doing this, but Koopa's already here. But this one is actually... a little bit more of the focus of the idea. And this might be the only other time it is. But outside of the Koopa Con thing, it's a lot like the first episode, The Bird.
Oh, yes.
Right down to taking place in the frigid Arctic.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I'm not saying it's great, but I think it's kind of better. I mean, it's better than Jungle Fever. Or Mario's Magic Carpet. Maybe not Butch Mario. I did like Cowboy Time.
Yes, I did like Cowboy Time as well.
But, I don't know. We can convalesce these into ratings after. But in the meantime...
Yeah, I guess right now we need to talk about the cast.
We do.
Who played Mario?
Yeah.
Who the hell played Mario?
Who wrote this? No, and we're going to start just listing the whole cast rather than only mentioning the regulars if they do someone else. Because it's a cast list of 6 people every week. So it's Lou Albano as Mario, Danny Wells as Luigi, and Salvador Drainoto. Jeannie Elias as Princess Toadstool and the Shy Guy who reports on the Mario Brothers' survival to King Koopa. Harvey Atkin as King Koopa, and Greg Morton once again as the Snippets, who we've talked about in previous episodes, so we don't need to go into his details.
Who plays Toad?
John Stalker. Did I not say John Stalker plays Toad?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
Well, John Stalker plays Toad.
Who plays Toad?
John Stalker.
Okay, good.
I'm just going to run through a few of the hilarious animation errors. Again, I won't normally just read these off the wiki, but there's quite a few. Like, one of the main ones we noticed, when Sal says, "Not just really great, Sonny," Mario's mouth is moving. Sal's off screen, and Mario is saying his lines. When Mario and Luigi are excited to go back to Brooklyn, Mario's mouth moves, but no sound can be heard. They lose some fingers. When Mario and his friends cross the bridge, they are almost to the other side, but when Koopa Con appears, they're back in the middle of the bridge. Here's the one I noticed. When Mario shoots fireballs at Koopa Con and his army, a fire is layered over a sniffet.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't you who noticed and rewinded it.
No, that's right. I apologize. Aaron noticed that. I had blinked, I think, and missed it. In the most classic sense of the word. When Mario and Luigi are watching water go through the pipes, Luigi has an M on his hat. This is one I remember you did notice after Koopa kicks over that stalagmite. When he turns around to talk to the Snippets, the stalagmites back up because they're using the background painting that had it there. And Mario, next shot. Close flash. Still just looking for any more funny ones. Mario's color flicks back and forth from being Fire Mario to regular Mario before he actually turns back to regular Mario.
All right, he actually turned back to regular Mario not because he got hit.
Oh yeah, just because he got sad. I think.
Yeah,
he looked sad and it just loot.
So Mario is weak against being hit, being sad, being wet.
Being thrown down a well.
Yeah. There's
No, wait, that was
well.
Luigi.
That was the shaft.
That's right. I can dig it. Okay, this is the only time Super Mario is able to fly by flapping his arms.
I doubt that.
According to this is the last episode where those commercial bumpers use still frames from the live action segment. It's hard to notice because outside of a single frame, it's cut out from the Amazon Prime version. It showed a brief snippet of it, but usually it's like, stay tuned for more whatever.
Yeah.
Which it's on the DVDs and it's on the YouTube version usually, because I've been using those to source screenshots, but it's not on the Amazon Prime version. And that's about it. So I guess we'll go into ratings. I'm looking forward to hearing yours.
Oh, good. Good.
So Brooklyn Bound, not your favorite.
Not my favorite. Oh, let's see. I need to give it a number from 1 to 10. I need to give a funny thing for it to end on this, related to this episode.
Yeah, which I've been opaque about it, but yes, I did steal this from Jump on the Batwagon as well. But they use it to rate Batman's usefulness.
Oh.
Yeah, 0 is if Batman hadn't showed up, the episode would have been the same. 10 is he saves the entire planet. Not that we need to base it on that, but I thought I owed you an explanation, since you still haven't heard the show.
Yes, and I will start listening to it once we have finished this podcast. Because right now I'm too busy.
They'll be in the middle of Zeta Project by then.
Oh, good. I'm too busy listening to our podcast after it releases to actually listen to anything else.
Yeah, we're not inflating our own numbers. We just like to listen to ourselves talk.
Because we're the most important people in the room.
And when we're talking to ourselves, we're talking to the most important people in the room.
I'm going to give it 4 animation errors out of 10.
Wow. Okay. 4 out of 10. I haven't been... I don't have a notepad ready, but we'll get it. I should just have like a physical notepad for this stuff. But we'll get it for next time. So 4 out of 10. And I am going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 flaming sniffets.
That was 6.5 out of 10?
Yeah. Oh, you got it up?
I'm just using our rep sheet.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, 6.5 out of 10 flaming sniffets. Or should be flaming sniffets.
Should be flaming snippets.
Yeah, that's better.
All right.
Now, the pasta power count, which I'm watching editing in real time. Our pasta power count was previously at
298,576 and a half.
No, we were up to 9 as of the last episode.
So this is 10.
So our pasta power count is up to 10. So it took a while for it to come back, but it did come back. And we'll see if it's a meteoric rise.
All right.
Oh, and I added it to the other sheet as well.
Awesome.
If you want to reach out to the show, you can leave a comment on the YouTube channel, which we've been getting, our views are steadily starting to climb. Special thanks to Cole, our friend, for leaving his essay-length comments. We won't be reading them on the show, but we're reading them in our hearts. And Lanola Cola, a mainstay from the Jump on the Batwagon podcast, who's the only confirmed ship jumper to join us over here since I used their letters page to blatantly advertise this podcast. And you can also follow us on Twitter X at Sup Show, because super was 2 characters too long.
We're not really that super anymore.
We're just sup?
Yeah, what's up?
Maybe you are. And you can email the show at excusemesupershow@gmail.com. And follow us on TikTok. We have episode clips coming up. That's another thing I've lifted, but not just from Jump on the Batwagon. Lots of podcasts have been doing this. And those clips have actually been doing pretty well on YouTube and pretty well on TikTok. And on TikTok as well, it's Excuse Me Super Show. We're trying for that brand uniformity. If only Twitter hadn't bit us in the butt about it.
I'll get you this time, Mario. Blah.
Blah. Wow. All right. Predictions for the next episode. The live action segment is called Wild Thing.
Oh, the Trogs show up.
The Trogs?
I believe those are that's the band that sings
Oh,
Wild
the...
Thing. Wild Thing.
Damn it. Yeah.
You make my heart sing.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Okay, that's yours. Mine is... You'd think I'd remember this one. Because it's one of the ones I know I've seen because it's paired with the Zelda episode on the DVD. It's one of the 5. I've said 4 in the past, but I meant 5. On the Zelda cartoon full DVD set, the original release, that has its live action segments, but I don't remember it, so I'm going to guess... Wild Thing. Animal from the Muppets will be there. So he can be puppeted by Edison. And then, it probably wouldn't be fair to guess, but the Zelda episode next week is White Knight. Now, I know this one very well. What about you?
I remember it of snobby, too good to get dirty, White Knight hero shows up to...
I thought you were going to call him a snobby, too good to get dirty white guy. Which isn't untrue.
Well, the snobby, too good to get dirty white guy shows up to Hyrule to replace Link as the hero. And because he's too good to get dirty, he's a shit hero.
He is that. Yeah.
Add bleep here.
That's true. I scored some good bleeps for the old Zelda cartoon censored. Maybe we'll cut a couple of those in there. But we'll find out what we have to bleep out next time. Because until next time, I'm John.
I'm Aaron.
And until next time, everybody, do the Mario!
But anyway.
No, I'm not doing this. You don't want out, you asshole. You saw a snowflake through the window.